Here we go. A video about control. So, this is just my personal view on the whole thing. It doesn't necessarily have to do with everyone else. Um, but I have to have that kind of control in my life. I have to feel like I've got that kind of control in my life. I can't give up what I believe is control when it comes to my medicines. I will give up on something else so that I can have that kind of tightness over when I take my medicines, and I'll get agitated if I don't take my medicines right when I'm supposed to. I have alarms that go off right then. Um, I have to have control, or believe I have to have control, when it comes to dating. I have a very specific mindset as to how that's supposed to go, and if I like someone, how it goes step by step from there. And unfortunately, that's going to destroy a lot of relationships for me. I'm well aware of this. All of this is logically not okay. Um, but because of my past history, it happened with someone in uniform. And I basically am working on taking that control back from them. And while it's not exactly the healthiest way to do it, um, it is basically how I'm handling it, how I'm pushing to get all of that control back to me. And so I actively seek out uniformed men, and that includes law enforcement, that includes military, that includes firefighters, paramedics, things like that, who have a uniform that they wear, because I feel like if I can get past my issue with them, if I can get past my ability to fall victim to them, then I can heal myself basically. And I know it doesn't work that way. I'm well aware it doesn't work that way, but it is how my mind is coping with all of this. Um when I lose control of things, I get very, very upset and very anxious and very like I've lost something, and I lost that bit of control that I thought I had. And whether I actually had it in the first place is an entirely different story. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is that I thought that it was there. I need to have control at work. I have to have control on the noise, on the busyness, on what everyone's doing. I have to be aware of how everything is going on so that I can feel safe in the situation. I can be there and be able to say, everyone is doing this sort of thing. Everyone is in their line. And I do not have a OCD, so I cannot necessarily compare it to it. But it's almost like that. It's almost like having a disorder where I am compulsed to have everyone in their slot and doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. I'm aware of what everyone is doing at the same time. And it gives me that kind of power to look at a situation and say, I'm safe. There's nothing wrong here because I know what's going on. And it's really hard for me to even do this video because I feel like I'm losing control on this video because it's making me anxious having to talk about the fact that I may not even have control. Now, when I went to my therapy session, he said, you need to not blame yourself. You need to convince yourself it's not your fault, that, the people who did this were animals, and I can say these words to you, but I can't mean them. And it's really hard for me to try to mean them or even think about meaning them because that means I lost control. I lost control at some point in those situations and I became a victim. And I don't want to be a victim. I I must have caused this. That's how my mind is working, is I must have caused this. I can't be a victim if I caused it. So I take all of this and I kind of hold on and squeeze for dear life, because I'm hoping that if I have that kind of power, that kind of control under me, then I can manipulate things that are safer for me. And I mean, this will go into every aspect of my life. My anxiety, my control in anxiety, my control in my PTSD, my control in my nightmares. I lose control in all of those. And so I have to take it back up somewhere else. I have to fix it somewhere else. And it's not healthy and it's not right, but it's how I think I'm managing it. And I don't think people realize how much control is needed even when it comes to cutting, how much control is needed at suicide attempts. I mean, I've tried 3 times and I can't keep bringing them up because it bothers me so much that I lost enough control 3 times to fail. When I cut, I have control. I have control about how deep I cut. I have control about how long I cut. I have control about how bad the wound becomes. Which, again, is not true, because I have hit veins and I have hit arteries and I shouldn't have, because it shouldn't have been that deep. But it did, and I ended up getting stitches. And I ended up having, to get things taken care of. But that's what I mean is everything has to have control, and if I lose control, I need to have a situation that I can get it back in. And I realize this video is getting kind of long and I'm going over the same things again and again, but I need to kind of hound it into you just how bad it feels to have to know everything at every moment in your life is under your power, under your kind of composer, what is that thing called? The composer wand thing? Composer stick? Just how bad it feels to have that under you, because if that's lost, the only thing I can control is how bad I hurt myself. And it's not a good way to continue my life, and I'll continue my addiction to cutting. It's not something that I can't get over my addiction if I can't get over my need for that control. So I just hope that this kind of has been hounded into you, and I mean, if you feel the same way, I'm so sorry, because this sucks, and this sucks a lot. If you know someone who's like this, maybe now you have a better understanding as to why they are the way they are. But I hope I've kind of given insight as to how my mind is working when it comes to control of dating and work and any kind of situations, and how bad it is to feel like you don't have control over anything in your life, and so you become so tightly wound up in it that you feel like you do.